I'm Tim and this is Paws on Point. Enjoy the episode and don't forget to like, subscribe, share and leave a comment after.
Hi. Are you okay?
So for today's episode, I got to sit down with one of our clients and have a chat about having a service dog, what it means to them having a service dog, the impact it makes, and how it helps them having a service dog, as well as a few other things as well. So sit back and enjoy, and don't forget to like us, share us, and spread the word. What led to you getting a service dog? Was it a build-up? Was it a sudden event? Was it a suggestion from a friend? Or
Yeah, well, I had a car accident that caused a severe neck injury that caused instability where I couldn't hold my neck up anymore. I had to have a collar. And so the injury was up at C1, C0, which causes all sorts of neurological issues such as fainting, blurry eyesight, nausea, just instability, just it's like the computer of your whole body is right there. So the different issues that came up were horrendous, and it was a long time battle, almost 10 years.
wow.
And just I go and get neck injuries or no injections that help with the stability, just to sort of make it more solid. And so it came to the point when I tried to do anything I tried to do on my own was difficult. If I went out on my own, I was either shutting down or powering down where I didn't have any control. I would just go down onto the ground and just sit there. Um, or if I did any kind of traveling, especially on my own, I would end up in positions where I'm in a corner throwing up because I just can't get control of the situation. And so it was suggested by the pain doctor that maybe that might be an option. And I happened to look online and found Woofability in April and contacted her. And I think that was right at the beginning when you were starting your service dog training. I think we were right up there at the beginning of your teams.
Yeah.
And it was such a success. And Georgie was, I think, only 2. So she was just old enough to start training. And she was a suitable dog for what I needed for deep pressure therapy, to help when I was dizzy, to help with getting medication, to help with stability, and just the fear of being in an area where I wasn't able to hold my balance or I felt like I was just starting to power down. So she gave me such a sense of comfort and security, that it allows me to go out on my own and feel comfortable. I actually just went over to Vancouver to visit my daughter, just last week or the week before, and left her that I could just go and just spend some time. Left her here, and I regretted it because I went out on my own down in Robson and walking, and I thought, oh, I needed her for this because I would have been able to have the security, the stability, and just she would have made sure I sat down and we would have just sat and stayed comfortable until everything kind of passed.
But it's kind of cool though to hear that she got you to that point where, whereas there was that fear of going out, it kind of that had taken a back seat, and you're like, yeah, I can do this. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it
totally.
job done in one sense, in that it installed the confidence. Uh,
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yeah, so no, she's definitely made my life more comfortable and secure, even when I'm home on my own and she has to go get medication if I'm having a bad episode. And no, it's definitely made our lives much better here. And she's also easy to travel. We head to Mexico every year. For this year, we're going for 6 weeks, and we do most of our walking down there. So she's great for stability and just care and making sure that things aren't getting overdone. She's quite, even when I'm sitting here working, actually, and I've spent too long here sitting in the chair, she'll come over and she'll make sure she won't leave me alone until we leave and reset and go rest somewhere. So she's just picked that up on her own.
That's good. That's how
Yeah,
the bond works.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
kind of scary that they end up knowing you better than yourself at
I
sometimes.
know. I know. Yeah.
So obviously changing. or Georgie becoming your service dog, what sort of impact? I know you've just spoken about what it does for you, but did it make an impact on those around you as well?
I think for my husband, yeah, just he felt more confident, especially if he likes to travel on his own a little bit. So he's comfortable when I'm here by myself, or if I do travel on my own somewhere further away. Definitely for the my kids, I don't know if they really fully get it. They're busy with their families and stuff, and it doesn't affect them in any way. But all my friends, they're all supportive and they understand, and they're accommodating. Everyone's accommodating when I take Georgie with me, so that's never a problem.
I know we've spoken, but what sort of hurdles did you come up against? Because obviously you've got what happened to you, you've got Georgie becoming your service dog, so that's quite a journey in itself. But then
Mm.
did you find that that opened a whole load of new doors that you didn't realize that were there, like in
Like for hurdle.
perception wise?
Yeah. So I don't think the only times I've ever experienced anybody pushing back with Georgie would be more just in public settings where people just feel they have the right to question why I even have a dog, or assume that she's just being trained. Um, that she's not mine at all. So I don't always correct them because I just don't care. It doesn't change anything for me. But the bold questions of, though, well, you don't look like you need a service dog, or why do you have one? What's your injury? You don't look blind. Those kind of things you get tired of trying to educate people what a service dog really does.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, this comes down to the invisible part. It's if they can't see it, then you shouldn't have it. And
Correct. They don't see that you have, fainting or seizures or powering down where you don't have any energy, you're just collapsing, or the whole world is spinning and you can't get control of that. They don't see that part of it because who wants to present that to the world? Nobody.
right, yeah, it's almost a catch 22, like in the fact that on your good days, yeah, you can kind of see why people would, to a certain degree, be like, well, why do you have a service dog? But it's remembering this is a good day. I might now have another 4 or 5 days after this where it's not so great. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Totally.
you
Exactly.
know,
And so you
and
have
and
your all the time, even on good days and bad days. So
yeah, it's interesting to me that a lot has moved forward, but still that the old you have to be deaf and blind. That is the only categories that you should have a service dog. It's still perceived that that's the only way. It hasn't moved on. It has for the people that are told, having a service dog might be a good idea for you, and
yeah,
it moves forward that way. But general public, this that stigma still wants to hang in there. It's
yeah.
gripped in. It's amazing.
It is. Like I was telling you when we were in Palm Springs, and there was this older fellow that came up to me and said, well, you don't look like you're blind. Like, why do you have a service dog? And his partner yells up, you don't have to be blind to have a service dog. It was pretty funny. I
It,
didn't, at that point, because he was so kind and genuinely interested, I did educate him. It's like the different reasons why you'd have a service dog, that you wouldn't see the injury.
how would you explain? I know this is going to sound a bit unfair because I know where this is going to go, but like, how would you explain the bond that you have? Would you say, because again, another perception is, well, it's just a pet
Yep.
dog on the end of a leash, but it's not. It's way more than
Yeah. Tim, I never had a dog sleep in bed with us before.
that.
There's not enough room. So she's always by my side, whether it's in bed. I'm up a lot during the night and don't get sleep. So I often get out of bed and I'm in the couch, and she doesn't leave my side. She's there all night, whether she gets sleep or not, or if I go downstairs and have a bath to try and soak and try
Mm,
and get the pain under control, because the pain can get quite severe. That poor dog just follows me to make sure she's making sure that I'm still walking, I've not collapsed on the ground. Um, she never takes an eye off of me. I mean, we're in the office now and she works right beside me until she feels that I've sat here long enough for work, or I'm kind of slowing down. She'll come and move me so that we get out of the office. So she is just a bond, a side part of me that's just there all the time.
yeah, I see it a lot. And from my point of view, it's magical to watch. It's really magical to watch, and to know that you, husband, wife, partner, has that security blanket when you're not around. It's
Yes.
actually quite a big deal, and you don't realize it until that moment. Do you know? And until you see it, and then you're like, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
this is that there was an anxiety I had that I didn't even know was there until that moment, and it's
Yeah.
cool. It can be tough, but it's cool. It's absolutely good, and, like, especially when the dog is not working
Yep.
and you're having some time with the dog, and you're like, right, so let's do some of this stuff you do with mum, and the dog's looking at you going, no, no,
Yes.
I don't understand that. I've never been taught that before.
The nice thing too, Tim, once, Georgie doesn't have her vest on and she's here, she's just as loyal. So she's good with never, he doesn't feel like he also doesn't have a dog. So
That's cool, and I mean
it's very nice. It's almost like she makes sure that, if something's up, she'll go get him or just make sure she likes when we're always together. She likes to keep us as a group.
that's cool. That's cool, and I think from like a partner's point of view, it's understanding that you have the same relationship, but it's displayed differently. Do you see
Yeah,
what I mean? And it is there, but it's like the dog. The dog knows. The dog is like, yeah, but you don't need the skills that I've got.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, you say you go to Mexico and you've traveled with Georgie. Did you
yeah.
find that there's a cultural difference on the view of service dogs from
They
country to
don't
country?
Yeah, they don't acknowledge service dogs in Mexico. But we go to Puerto Vallarta most of the time or just travel up and down that coast. They are such dog lovers, and it's hard to get them to not love your dog, like to say she's working and you're in a different country and you can't be rude. So it just happens. They've got it. They yell out from cabs. They come over and see you. Their camera and showing us pictures of their dog and how much they love their dogs. And so they put a lot of value to them, and they just don't listen if you say the dog is working. She gets a lot of love when she's down there, and there's just nothing you can do. And you don't put the vest on because it's so hot and nobody acknowledges it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess in some countries where it's not really identified, a working dog is a working dog is a dog that should be on a farm doing something. That's a working dog. But
Yes.
outside those perimeters, nah, the dog's not working. It's just a pet dog that does some awesome stuff.
But they love them so much that there's never a problem taking them everywhere you need them. So she's always with us, whether you're in not the grocery store, they don't like that, but any of the restaurants or little shops or anything like that. We've never had any problems renting Airbnbs. Usually I just have to send our licensing and a letter from Woofability, and we have no trouble getting accommodations, because most of them don't allow dogs. So
Yeah,
for a service dog, as long as you have the paperwork, there's never been any trouble for us.
that's
How we've been in the States, and yes, we do have the vest on all the time. It's not as hot as Mexico, so it's much more
mm.
comfortable. Um, and in the States, it's of course acknowledged as a service dog, and we've not had any problems either with accommodations or restaurants or anything like that.
It's interesting to see the service dog world and be like, wow, there is some serious progression being made in these areas, which is fantastic. But it seems that there's still some areas that need a bit of work on in to bring it in line with those. It's easy for some people to just presume that things happen for you, but I
Yes.
think I think it's im I think it's important that your voice is heard, because you're a living, breathing human being, and the fact that you have a service dog doesn't differentiate at all from that at all.
Yeah, I should clarify too. Like I said that in Mexico, it's more when we're out in public, but if you're going through the airport or any government places, they're very strict of what you're bringing into the country and the documents and the paperwork and or having them on the plane. I haven't run into any trouble, but I usually have more than enough paperwork prepared for all of that.
And there's a part of me that understands the control element on that because of viruses and all of that. That makes sense to me. That's
Yeah,
I think it's when those things are put in place and all of them are followed and there are still questions raised, that's when I'm like,
yeah,
that's not the whole point in the procedures and filling out the 15,000 forms and
yeah,
duplicating information over and over and over again. The whole point of that is so you don't ask any questions. So we
correct.
are pretty bulletproof. So why are you questioning?
Actually, you make me think of when we were coming home the last trip from Mexico. So it might have been a year ago when we were coming back through customs in Vancouver. So it would have been Canadian customs. They put me off in, I showed them the document for Georgie. She had her vest on, she was all prepared, and they sent me off into secondary and they refused that she was a service dog. And I had to stand firm and fight for that. And we had to wait and wait till more security came in. And I had to be questioned what kind of injuries I'd had. And I had to prove that I needed it. That doesn't happen very often. Well, actually, it was the only time, and we've traveled quite a bit. But just to not, I guess, I'm not one that's terribly easily pushed over or intimidated. And I know my rights because you have taught me. You and April have taught me my rights, but they definitely tried to steamroll over me.
Yeah, and yeah, there will be a podcast at some point in the not so distant future, with a story relating to that. I think
Yep,
there's a previous podcast that we talk about with regards to fake service dogs. I think that has a very big contributing factor to the travel industry.
it does, because in the States, you don't need a license. You can just go off and buy these vests,
Mm.
which, well, actually, I know of some people personally that have done that, and nobody questions that. So it does put us in a bad light for people who really do have license.
And I understand um, from airlines. I mean, I understand that they have to ask questions, but when somebody is legitimate and has filled forms out and has identification, even government issued identification,
Yes,
to me, that's the end of the questioning. When that is presented, it's end of. There's
correct.
no way that that dog could have got a certification to a government standard. You can't buy that on the internet. It's
No,
impossible. It's a certain, and it's like it's end of. It shouldn't keep going.
that should be the end of it. And that was the part interesting with border crossing security, that they weren't accepting it. And I kept standing firm that this was government issued.
And it's it's soul destroying in your situation that you have flown out of your homeland country. There's evidence to show that
Exactly.
you've left your country on a plane with your service dog and that same paperwork. So
I
to
never
come back to what is your homeland and kind of be questioned and interrogated that way, it's a bit soul destroying. You're like,
didn't even
this
think of
is my home. This
yeah.
is my home, and yeah, I think there's lots. I think because of the situation, because of the rules, because of the regulations, and because of how it weaves and it can be bent and it can be interwoven, I think it's been tried to be dealt with, but it's been a band-aid on top of a band-aid on top of a band-aid. And I think it's got to a point where it's a bit of a mess and no one really wants to touch it because it means taking all those band-aids off and it's what's going to be underneath them. That's my take on it. But I think there's an opportunity there is a very big opportunity to put this to bed, even if it's just through Canada.
Well, it should be put to bed if it's government licensed. This isn't like the states where there is no licensing body that anybody could call their dog a service dog and put on a vest. It's not like that in Canada. So if it's government issued, then all government bodies should be aware that this is a government program, that you
Mm,
just go and get a license from nowhere.
right? It's it's mind-boggling,
Mm.
because to me that then questions, you could question, if you're going to question a government ID for a service dog,
Mhm.
you could then question every other piece of government ID and be like, it doesn't hold that stance. Do you see? If it's allowed to be questioned in that way,
That's a great argument. It's a great, I don't think that way, Tim, but yeah, those are great arguments.
it then, so are you telling me that my passport is not as concrete as what it's perceived to be? I mean, yeah, this is going to be a podcast, and I know that this is a very juicy subject, and I know that a lot of people are going to jump on it. I know that
The other
it's a mess. It is a bit of a mess,
part,
unfortunately.
and that you have to be so careful of, is that they get, soon as you start showing government employees that they're wrong and you're standing up to them, they get indignant and angry. And so
Mm,
you got to be careful how you present yourself and stay firm, but without, I mean, even still, this particular experience that we had, she
mm.
just, because somebody above her had to educate her, she just wasn't educated. That really was what it was. She definitely had attitude and temper when we were leaving and wouldn't answer the direction where we even needed to go. Like, we had no idea how to even get out of the room that we were sent to.
And I think in its rawity, if you like, I think there's two big issues that are driving a lot of this, and I think it's the lack of education internally. Like, some people do know, some people don't know. And I also believe that the complexity of the rules surrounding that particular issue are hard to learn, especially if you're new on the job.
Yes.
You know, especially if you're on border, and part of me feels for them, because they have a big responsibility, a very, very huge responsibility. And if they get it wrong, it's not so great for them.
Yeah.
So, but it shouldn't be the swaying factor. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be. Well, I'm just going to say no because it's easier. Then I know I'm safe.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know. But I mean, I think this particular subject, I think it's been bubbling for a while, and I think it is like a volcano, and I think that bubbling is, if not reaching the top, and I think if it's not addressed, it will explode.
I think it's because service dogs are being more, you're seeing more of them. People are using them. And so therefore it's becoming more of an everyday what you see, or people are traveling with them more. No, I don't see a lot of people traveling with service dogs, to tell you the truth.
No, I can't say I've experienced an uptake personally myself when I've been
Yeah.
traveling. I can't say that,
No, you're right.
which is interesting. Because if you look at it through one lens, yes, there is a big uptake. But from the other side of it, it's
See
an
more
interesting subject. It's a
I see
very,
more in Victoria. Like, I do see more service dogs around and in the mall or downtown,
mm,
that kind of stuff. But definitely, I didn't see any when I was in Vancouver. I don't see, barely saw any. We did a 3-week road trip down to cross the border into Mexico. We did Arizona, Palm Springs, San Diego, LA. It's just a handful,
mm.
really.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore on that, I think, really. I think there's so many factors that come into play, because you could have one state that is an argument, is phenomenal in providing support to somebody that they need because of their condition, whether that's invisible. So because that support is so great, or the funding is so great,
Yeah.
it reduces the need for a service dog. Does that mean, so that might be why there's pockets of?
Correct. But you see, there's quite a big, like you said, an uptake in Victoria. You see, there seems to be more service dogs here when you walk around with their vests on than I see elsewhere.
Yeah, isn't it?
Or we're just
I
small.
think there's lots of ways of looking at that. I mean, it's to be fair, Victoria is very dog friendly anyway. They are very advanced with regards to how they embrace dogs, how they think about dogs, how they see dogs anyway. So that may be part of it. The other part is that a nucleus, if you like, of people that are putting jackets on dogs because then they can take their dog everywhere. And
Well, that is true. Yeah, and I personally know, yes, that is
yeah,
true.
and I can, yeah, from
You
a
probably,
professional point of view, I have had conversations where the reason why they want the service dog title is because they want to travel with their dog.
right, correct.
And I unfortunately have had to have an uncomfortable conversation where I'm like, sorry, we don't train dogs for that reason.
Yes. Well, you can't fly without the government ID anyway. So you can put a vest on, but if you don't have the document or the letter from the trainer or whatever, they won't let you on.
No, no. So it's an interesting subject. Uh,
And I would have to say, but between that and just people feeling that they can pet your dog without being asked or give your dog food without being asked, just how people feel that they can approach your dog, an unknown dog to them freely. It's that part's shocking to me.
yeah, it's an interesting subject. That's another interesting subject. In you're kind of taught not to approach dogs that you don't know because you don't know how that dog's going to behave. Now that's a general rule. That is as a rule. You just don't go wading on in there. I know some people do, but you don't go wading on in there.
Yep.
But the ruling, if you like, or social etiquette is don't go and like pet a dog when it's working. That just it's gone. It disappears. It's
They even know it's a service dog. They'll say,
I
"Oh,
know.
she's working. Oh, I'm going to pet her." And it's like, well, and you try, but by the time they've already petted and made a scene, it's like, okay, I guess. My gosh.
I don't know how
Mostly,
else you can kind of make it obvious that the dog is working. It's got a coloured jacket on. It has patches that says, "Please do not pet me. I'm working." It has service dog written on it. You can see that the dog is focused on its handler 100%. It's not bouncing around. It's not trying to escape. It's not doing any of those things. It's amazing that the brain still doesn't pick those cues up, and it's just like,
well,
oh, dog, let's cuddle.
totally. It's like they lose all sense of what is right or wrong. And they just, yeah, it just shocks me. And it's an everyday occurrence when you're out, always.
You know, you almost wonder whether, like, if you're going into a mall, you have to stand there with like one of those microphones and say, "Hi, my name is. I have a service dog. Please don't pet my dog." And every now and then announce it, and it's like, no, that's not how it's meant to be.
I know. People are dog lovers, I think, and they can't help themselves, especially with a service dog who's so well behaved and they look lovely and they look approachable. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I personally would, it wouldn't matter whether it was a service dog or a private dog. I would never think to go up and pet it and cuddle it and even put my face up to its face. I don't get it.
Oh dear, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
It's absolutely I mean we talk about it that it's happening a lot, but I don't think it happens all the time, but I think when it does happen, it happens, it's such a big event, it sticks with you. Do you know what I mean? And then you do go out and then you see it about to happen again. You're like, really?
I know.
Really? Come on, cut me some slack. You know?
Yes, I
It,
know.
Yeah, it's dogs are infectious, I guess. I guess that's what it is.
It has to be that.
It messes with people's brains. Even Maybe that's where the questioning comes from, you know? They go all gooey, start fussing a dog. They're not meant to fuss. They're feeling great about it. And then, so why do you have a service dog? What are you doing? Why are you asking that question?
Who are you?
What's your SIN number? You know?
I'll, I'll share my medical issues with you if you share yours with me.
Yeah, you start first.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's regards to the to obviously having your accident and then having experienced what you experienced after the accident. And I did do a podcast a few weeks ago about service dogs aren't a cure. They're
Yes,
not a cure. Do you would you agree with that? I mean, I appreciate that it can most definitely 100% lessen a lot of conditions, so to speak. Would you say definitely not a cure?
definitely not a cure. I wouldn't say it lessens anything that I experience, but it gives me the support. Like, so if I don't have another friend, if I'm having a
Mm,
bad episode, I have Georgie. I can go off on my own and have, I can be self reliant in a sense and just do things on my own comfortably and feel safe.
would it be fair to say that what you experienced was very traumatic, and then the aftermath of that? Would you say it would be fair for someone to kind of enter that zone where they're like, yeah, if I get a service dog, all this goes away, it magics itself away? In that moment, do you see what I mean? Like, because of everything that's happened, everything they're experiencing, everything's been turned upside down, and then you see people with service dogs, and you see them functioning, you're getting on with life. So can you see how it's easy to get into that mindset of a service dog's going to cure me? It's gonna heal me from inside out, you know?
But it would be the same way if you had any kind of other crutch that you had, or support, or brace,
Mm,
or mobility support, that you would be able to go off and do things. And it didn't cure you, but it made your life more, your quality of life was better. I would say that's how I would say it. Your quality of life is better,
yeah.
but it didn't get rid of the issues. The issues are still there. They still affect your family. They still affect your day to day,
Mm,
your work life, your family life. But the quality of life, having that constant companion support
mm,
by that loyal companion beyond loyally, the also thing that I think that maybe people might see, and I've experienced, especially with the training with Woofability, and then the ongoing training that I do with you guys, because it does release endorphins. It makes you feel great when you're successful. You've tried something new. You're with people that are like-minded, who are taking the courses with you, or with the team that's training. That all aids in how you handle life as well. It makes a big difference.
yeah.
For short amounts of time, that endorphin of success that you had in learning, doing, growing, and being around people makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and
And one more thing,
yeah.
sorry, started that thought, is that's why I always thought with this community that supporting each other and not being a lone wolf, not facing the world and your service dog and your injuries and your life on your own, but having other people who can only understand what's it like to be in life with an injury, seen or unseen,
Mm,
how you're looked at by other people, as if you're valuable or not valuable, or just lesser of a person because you're not as quick as what they are. And then having the constant companion of a service dog is such a unique group experience and support. I think it makes a difference.
definitely, definitely, and I think that's a very important point about the lone wolf, and I think, yeah, I think many people that have conditions, visible or not, because of the way the world has become fixated with perfection, so to speak, you instantly are convinced that you're now the lone wolf. It's just you on your own. It's just you versus the world, you know, and it's
The
that's
world,
daunting.
the world is fast, and when you have certain injuries, and mine being more neurological, and I guess with some physical issues with it, it slows you down. So you're not fast thinking, you're not fast moving. So it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and I think it's retraining the world to understand that irrespective of who someone is, what they have going on in their life, whatever that is, everyone has a place. Everyone has a place in the world, and they deserve to explore that. They deserve to, as a human being, they deserve to be in the world, and not pushed to the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of building that needs to happen, and I hope we can contribute to that, even if it's just a little bridge, even if it's just a little step, then that's job done.
Well, I've definitely seen that with you and April and your Woofability team, just what you've been doing in the last few years and how you are making a community and you're making a difference. Is that has been, for me, that's been awesome to watch. And I'm a huge fan. I'll be a huge fan though.
Not that you're biased at all.
But I do see it. Not even just remove Georgie and I from it. I can see what you're doing and how you are with everybody else, and just your growth and where you're reaching out to.
Thank you. Thank you. That's an unexpected plug there, but thank
Oh, there you
you.
go. I'm turning this around on you, Tim.
Yeah, this isn't meant to be about me.
No,
No,
but you,
it's nice to hear that, because from our point of view, we are in the fast lane a lot. We are, so to see what we do, and we understand the difference it makes. We see that, we really really do. But I think there's a part of us that doesn't fully accept it to a certain degree, because we're like, no, we just got to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and it's, yeah, I think we try to take a step back and have a look and pat ourselves on the back where, it's obvious that the difference is made. But I think it's a good point, actually. I think those of us that are trying to make that difference should do that more often. And I don't mean that from an ego point of view. I don't mean that from, not even from a business point of view. I think, again, as a human being, it's healthy to stand back and go, wow.
I think, for what I do for work and supporting businesses, I know that you get on that treadmill and you're just moving forward and it can actually propel you forward. And you never actually, until you get off that treadmill, to be able to see the differences that you've made or the growth that you made or the lives that you've touched. You don't see that until you take a step because you're so motivated going forward and doing good and making changes.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, because I know we have had a lot of support from people who have thanked us for what's happened and everything. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, because it's not meant that way. It is literally being on that treadmill. It is, yeah, you kind of go, okay, so we've got momentum. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Totally,
You
totally.
know.
That makes sense. And I don't think it's disrespectful. I think that's just the way life is. So,
And I think yeah, I don't think I know, we're energized, so we absorb it and use it to power forward, and it just makes it even more
oh,
stronger. But yeah, I love how much, I love hearing your story. I love hearing how much of an impact it's made for you, and to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do this on my own. I think that's great. I think that's so cool. And
been a fail, but that's okay. I did it. Hey, Tim, I got lost. I didn't even know where I was downtown. I was like, oh, this is bad. And I'm dizzy and I'm fainting. It's like, I'm just going to sit down. And I don't want anybody to know. It's like, let's look normal, not like anybody else on Robson Street that doesn't look normal. I feel like I'm fitting in right now.
yeah, I know, yeah, I know. Let's go to a coffee shop and get myself a coffee, and I just blend in with everyone while I,
Here and look like we know exactly what we're doing. We're okay.
yeah, let's buy a newspaper. Let's sit out on the patio with my cup of coffee, and just, I can't read the paper, but at this moment in time, but let's just pretend.
How did you know? Were you there?
No, I wasn't. I was not there. Let's just merge in with everyone. It's just not create a scene.
That's 100% what it was like. So it's like the panic, the sweat, like that's it. You're losing it. You're powering down. It's like, it'll be okay. Just be quiet. Nobody will notice.
Let's find a spot that's in the corner. So if I do seem to slump back, it just looks like I've had a heavy day.
Yeah. Or I'm with street people and nobody will know.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows me here. No one's interested. They're busy.
That's right. That was exactly my day.
Yeah. And then you get to, I'm good now. And then you go to get up and you're like, oh no, it's back. Okay, so now I've got to
It
take a few
was.
steps forward because this looks weird if I get up and then sit back down again. So
I went to the bathroom was where I went. Yeah. You know, and that was
oh dear. It's again another amazing thing that us humans do when those things happen. How we, when you get into that panic mode in some of the strange things that you don't realize are strange until afterwards, and you're looking back and you're like, why did I think that that was normal?
yeah. Yeah. Well, so I never think it's normal. It's always bizarre. I know that. But
No, I learned, to be fair, I learned a long time ago that really there isn't anything,
yes, you just don't want to stand out. You
right?
just want to stand out, have everybody look at you. Or, I had before Georgia, I had it where I went on my own and, you're in a position where you can't get off the floor and that people, you don't want people helping you if you don't need it. It's embarrassing.
Mm.
Yeah, no. So
It's yeah, and I think that might stem from when we're younger, and I think it's definitely a generational thing. I think as well. I think you kind of, it's installed in you that no matter what happens, you just get up, you just keep going. You don't show that side, you don't show the vulnerability. You kind of bottle it inside you and just try and power through because.
it is our generation. Yes, 100%.
I would really love to be in a position where I just don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I might try it one day, just see what happens. You know, just like, meh, this is me. Lock, stock, here we go.
Exactly.
Maybe we should be more like that. Maybe we should. Maybe that's what the world needs. No, I think there's a lot more ambulances that might get called if we all start trying.
Totally.
Okay, well, it has been great talking to you, as it always is. I'm going to let you go. I've taken up a lot of your time, but you've shared so much, and thank you ever so much. It's
My
awesome.
my
It's
pleasure.
it's been a great chat, and yeah, I could go on for about another 5 hours, but I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to get in a lot of trouble.
There you go. Excellent. Well, I'll look forward to chatting you again soon.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, take
Bye
care.
bye. So before I go, better give our sponsors a big shout out. So that's Trupanion, Narlabone, and Hamilton Veterinary Services. If you're not sure who they are, do a bit of research, go onto Google, find out who they are. They're fantastic people. So until next time, catch you again.